Hello, my beautiful soul family. Welcome to my channel, The Mystical Hummingbird. I am very happy that you're here with me this Sunday. It's kind of a chill day today for me. I had been meaning to do the channel yesterday, but I've had a couple of things come up that I was not able to do it. I have many things, many thoughts the last couple of days. I think a lot. I want to say philosopher. I've been like this since I was little. I have many thoughts. I think before I speak. And I observe life. I like to take things apart like in a puzzle. I don't know if this makes sense to you guys, but for me, things have to make sense. If they don't make sense, then I will unravel the idea, the situation, the concept until it makes sense to me. And I don't like to give up on things. I think this is why, in a way, it's good, and in another way, it's not good, because it's kind of an attachment. But for me, what I've learned about myself is that attachment can be both positive and negative. To be honest, I haven't given a name to what I'm going to speak about today. It's just coming from me today. I'm just letting Spirit speak through me. I was told not to say anything, not to write anything down, so I feel very, I have many thoughts. When I say about the attachments, when something is good to be attached to it, is to discover it, to unravel it. Like, when you are playing with, like, if you're a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout and you need to make those knots that are very firm, it's really hard to untangle them, to take them apart. Or like, I'm a knitter, I knit. So when I'm knitting, sometimes things if I leave my knitting, laying around, and all of a sudden I go back to it after a while, it has, the yarn has become like knotted. So I have to take it apart very carefully. So this is how I like to do things. I like to unravel things. I don't like to give up on things. I also think it was difficult for me when I went through this divorce, because I wanted to figure out this is part of my past, what I learned from this. I wanted to see what I had done, what was my what part I played, and if I was in the future, if I needed to, of course I needed to learn something from this, but I wanted to know how I played this, so that I could unravel that. But it was so much to unravel that I had to completely take myself apart. And one thing I did, I allowed it to take me apart unconsciously. And I want to tell you guys that it's very important to do things, consciously. When we do things consciously, then you are able to look back and see the purpose of it. When we do things unconsciously, there really is like no purpose, because you just are living without a margin, without knowing, you're going left or right. You're just going anywhere. And for me, this is for me. I have to have like a goal, like something has to make sense for me to be in it, but sometimes not. Like, for example, a joyous moment and a vacation. Okay, this you guys don't know about me. Most people, oh, this is bugging me, my little plant. I had to break that off. Um, Most people, when they go on vacations or when they're looking forward to something, they get really excited. Like, let me think. I have so many examples. My kids, especially the youngest, she couldn't wait for Christmas, and she'd be sitting and waiting and counting the days and just being so like working herself up to the minute. The 24th, we usually gave presents on the 24th, like we did in Europe because we used to live in Europe. And then the day of Christmas, came, and she was just like all over. But before that, she just was the anxiety of it, anxiety, and like, looking forward to it, and just like it was so much that it almost sometimes, oh, I can't wait to get to those presents. I think we're all like that to a point. But for me, for example, when I go on a vacation, most people ask me, aren't you excited? And I had actually not even thought about it because I live in the moment. I've realized that. And so I don't think of that vacation. Let's say if the vacation is tomorrow, and I've been, you're planning and you do the things that you need to do to prepare for that. But I don't think about it at all. Like, there's no anticipation for me. Why? Because I like to relish the moments. And so the day off that I take my suitcase and I get up and walk out of this house, that's the moment that I get anticipation, and I get not anxiety, but that feeling of overwhelming, like, oh, it's happening now. And I like to enjoy life like that because if you're thinking ahead, thinking, oh, when I'm going on a vacation next July, and oh, but that's just me. And so I've been thinking about life, like I always think about life. And I look at my life and I am so grateful. I I sometimes have no words to express the gratefulness I have to my creator, because I live a very easy, very calm, very calming life. I have let me think, what's the word? Uh, I don't have stresses like, okay, I have you could call it a stressful job, but I I try not to be in the stress. I have someone that I take care of that suffers from a very it's a very serious disease. And this person sporadically can get seizures that are pretty much deadly, that could take their life. And I've been here for 3+ years, and I've had many times where I've had to call 911, and I've saved their life many times. Um, and I think at the moment the things happened, I act. At that moment, I act accordingly to what is expected of me, what I'm supposed to do. But in life in general, I try to emulate nature. And I think I've been like this since little. But I have to tell you, a lot of people, even like in my own family, misunderstand me because, let's say, if someone is speaking, they're saying something to me, and I have so many thoughts in my head that I don't want to forget them. And I want to convey what I'm thinking. I don't want to interrupt them, but sometimes I do. And it causes friction. I understand that. And I consider to be a good listener. I try my best to be a good listener. sometimes my own kids have told me that I'm not. And then I look back and I think, how can I have not been a good listener? Because we judge ourselves. And for me, when I say judge ourselves, I judge the situations to see where I'm at. I don't judge other people. I am an observer. And being an observer, I see reactions, I see behaviors, and it's not up to me to judge anyone because I am not their judge. And what I want to say at this moment to you guys, how important it is to know yourselves. To know yourselves is key. We're living in a time right now where there's so much chaos outside of ourselves, within our communities and jobs and the government and in all the different sectors, like the health sectors, with insurances and the all that comes with the insurance. People are, what should this doesn't cover this and this doesn't cover that, and I don't have enough money for that, and then the other sector of, which I don't like to discuss, politics. And I see how it affects people. I see how many are affected by the situations that are being, something happens and then you have repercussions, and then it starts like it's a big ball that starts falling, or up in the mountain and you see the little rocks tumbling down, causing havoc and causing all types of problems due to the different situations and what people choose, and etc., etc. So I've been more aware, more than ever, about my real self, my higher self that's within me. If this is something that we need to make space for, we're not taught this. We're not born with a manual under our arm that tells you, okay, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do this, you're gonna meet this person, you're gonna do this and that. No, we're born into families that some are completely disheveled, people that are not grounded, people that have addictions, whether they be drugs or alcoholism. There's a violence. So many of us out there, we were born into families that were not connected with God, with no religion or anything. I myself am not a religious person. I used to be, and like I've said before, I have nothing against religions. Everyone should be able to find that which brings truth and brings love and brings contentment to the soul individually. I don't follow the world's norms anymore because I just don't. I'm going on my own path, and I'm not better than anyone. I don't know everything. And in fact, I realize the more that I learn, the more that is open to me, the more I discover going into this, whatever you want to call it, rabbit hole, whatever, the more I dive into me, the more I see that I don't know. And to me, ignorance is like the greatest sin, which I don't, that's another subject. Excuse me, I want to drink some. Yeah, it's a subject that I don't like to go into too much because it's so deep, and many people are, they won't understand me, but and I understand one thing, that words themselves really do not teach us. You can read thousands of books, you can listen to thousands of podcasts and hundreds of people blah 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 blah, like I'm over here blah blah blah, But true knowledge comes from experience. And then you can either take the experience of life and just revel it, and take it and see what it is that life offers you, what it is that you want out of life. Do you have expectations? When we are in relationships, I think this is the place where we learn the most about ourselves. I made a very conscientious decision years and years and years ago. I want to say like, probably like over 20 years ago, after I went through this divorce, this experience that life taught me. I didn't want to be in any relationship. I was for a little while with someone. But after that, I thought, no, I'm going to find what I am, who I am, what I'm doing here. What's my purpose in this life? What was I made for? What am I? Who am I really? In this journey, you guys, the journey of the self, it's almost like you if it okay, I can only speak of my experience. I think of it's kind of like when I talk about this reveling, Rumi, the poet Rumi, said something about unknotting something, and I'm not quite sure exactly how it goes, but to unknot something, to unravel it. I am reveling myself, and I'm seeing different facets. I know I'm a multifaceted person, and in fact, we have different, I don't want to say like personalities, but we do. We're kind of like actors. If you um, if you study yourself, if you truly study yourself, you'll see the different facets that you have. You are childlike, you are silly, you are sometimes mesmerizing, sometimes you come across as this very deep philosophical person. And can I tell you why I'm saying this? I have dreams. I have dreams that teach me. I have a very close relationship with my maker. He teaches me through dreams. He teaches me through nature. He teaches me through the stones, the rocks, the crystals. He teaches me mostly, I can't say just mostly, but dreams are a very big part of my life since I was a little girl. When we left South America, I remember having a dream, crying, and remember seeing our father with suitcases, and he was leaving, and I didn't know what was happening. Not even a couple of weeks went when we were told that our father was leaving. He was moving to the United States. And then I started realizing, wow, I have dreams that tell me, that give me uh, messages. And I had a close relationship with my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, my father's mom, and I would tell her many of the things. Mostly we spoke about spiritual things. And she would tell me that it was messages from God. And I have a relationship, I believe, with my Creator due to the teachings of my grandmother. She was very adamant about teaching me about the essence, about the nature of God. She never told me he was this old man with a beard or that he lived in some planet. She would always tell me, he's not up in the mountain, honey. He's not up on that church. He's everywhere, and then here. She would take my little hand to my heart and say, he's here. He's inside of you. So I've built this relationship that has been both cold and warm, because throughout my life, at times I let go of his hand and I walked on my own, and I fell and I suffered, and because I didn't trust anything. And then when I thought I was done, I didn't want to be in this world anymore, He didn't allow for me to take my life. He sent people to save me. He, and I say he always because for me, God is more male than, I can't say more male than female. He's both male and female because for me, God is both also a mother and a father, okay? And I don't know how to explain that. It's just, I know this since I was a child and it makes sense to me. And God for me is not this form. God is formless, and yet he takes form in whatever shape he wants. So he's, to me, he's like a shapeshifter. I've seen God in an old man. I've seen him in a child. I've never told you this. One day, I did something silly, something that it wasn't silly. It was something kind of naughty, and I was very unhappy with myself and very sad that I had done this. And I asked forgiveness, and I said, "I'm so sorry. I promise I will never do that again." And so I was driving in my car, and I came to a stop, and there was a child crossing the street in his little bike. The boy stopped right in the middle, the center of the street. He must have been like a 12-year-old. And in my mind, I was talking to God, telling him how sad I was, and I promising please, and asking please forgive me. This boy stops in his bike, looks at me, a complete stranger, mind you. He looks straight at me, smiles at me, and does like this. And then all of a sudden, I guess he realized, what am I doing? And he took off. Many will say, that was just a coincidence. Not in my world. God talks to me through everything. And I am grateful. I've told you guys that I write journals. I have, and this is not just, this is one of many. As you can see, I write and write my dreams. I write my thoughts. And like I've told you before, I feel very, very strong about words don't really teach you. Experiences, the experience of life itself teaches you, teaches me. But you need to be open. You need to open yourself. You need to want to know. You need to want to fill your life with something substantial. Not be empty like most people. Most people don't care. Most people just live life like an empty vessel. And you know, I think Socrates, when he said, the only true wisdom is that you know nothing, that's pretty much how I feel. The more I know, the less I know. And I laugh at myself because I think it's humorous. It's funny that to think that we are in this so-called life, and if you guys knew, if you guys understood that there's so much behind the spectrum of this so-called life, that you are not even really here. When you get to that part, oh boy, see, all is illusion. The Indians, the people of India, they're ancients. They called it Maya, and we're actually all in another place. This is just an experience. We're physical beings, but we're not. We're spiritual beings. We're spiritual beings living what? In this vessel, this life. We're having an experience. And to find meaning, to give meaning, you give meaning to your life. You may be going through right now difficult times. You may be going through the breakage of a marriage or a relationship, or you lost your job, or someone in your family passed away, or you find yourself without a home, or someone, maybe anything chaotic, or something that has completely broken your life, or maybe you found out that you have a terminal illness. I I know that life can throw at us such harsh things that we can at times think, no, how can I endure this? How can I go through this? And all I can tell you is from my own experience, find the love of self. If you don't believe in a creator, if you don't believe in anything, believe in you. Find that which makes you, because I promise you, when you find you, you will find something a lot more deeper. But this is your journey. I, like I've told you, I have dreams, and many of my dreams, they come true. Many of them. That sometimes I'm like baffled. Why am I like this? Why do I have dreams that come true? You know, when I left my job, I was told to leave my work, and then I hear a song, and it gives me information. God tells me things through songs, through people, through books, through music. He leaves me signs. He speaks to my heart. He speaks to my mind, and I've created something with him. I call it, for me, it's the mind and the heart and the mind coherence is together. It kind of, it's almost like I have this marriage, this unification of amalgamated. My mind with my heart is amalgamated, and it's indestructible because God has touched my life in such a way that I'm no longer even if I were to be in a cave, even if I were to be wherever by myself, I'm not by myself. I never feel alone. I have this, and it humbles me to think that I'm not so special. It's just me. It's just me, Viviana. And God makes me feel like a little girl sometimes, because I have a father that really loves me. I had a father too. I have a father, a physical father, and I wish that I'd had a more closer relationship with him, but it wasn't like that. And I want to say, and I'm grateful that the last years of his life I was able to take care of him before he passed away. And but life was hard with him, and he did the best he could. But when I speak about my father, my creator, doesn't compare to anything. And I wish that you guys one day, or I hope that many of you, have a relationship with this God. Um, he's like my best friend, and he's showed me that we're all interconnected. Everything is God, because everything is energy, and God is energy. God is energy. The times that he has saved my life is, they're countless of times. I mean, I have countless and countless of experiences, and I don't want to sit here and tell you all the things, and because I don't want to be throwing this out to the world, and this is my experience, but I'm sharing with you, letting you know that you can yourselves have the same. And I can't imagine having, not having a father that, uh, I'm mindful. He's mindful of me. And you know, when you reach a point when you have expectations of God, I've never heard that before. having expectations of God, but I do. And I all humbly say, I do, because He knows me. He knows how I am. He knows who I am. And because He knows how I think of Him, so He knows, hey, that little one down there, better keep an eye on her. And because I have these expectations, and they come true, I didn't believe, I stopped believing in love. I'm very emotional today. I don't know if you caught that with me, but um, uh, I I feel very blessed, and I am living a life that is unraveling itself. I want to say like a lotus flower. A lotus flower has thousands of petals, and I can see how I am unraveling, and my true self is coming out. I have knowledge of things that how do I know that? And it's just a remembrance. My heart is tender, and I've been shown that I need to respect myself so others can respect me, and not allow, um, excuse me, and not allow for anyone to offend me, because by offending, it's not so much me, but it was shown to me that what lives here is my God. So there's a saying I remember in high school: stick and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yeah, you can beat the crap out of a person, and that will hurt, but words hurt more because they linger here if we choose them. So, detachment, this is why I love also Buddhism. I like some of the teachings of Buddhism. Detachment is very important because in this way, in this manner, we honor ourselves, and the pain, the pain or whatever may be is out here and it's heavy. You don't want to carry it with you here, so you detach from it. When we go through divorces, or we go through periods of times of things that hurt us, there's a process, a process to heal. Like, I'll show you, when I worked at the health department, I was not a nurse, but I was taught many techniques and things that nurses did. I helped and learned to heal people that had horrible wounds in their legs from different things. Some people that had been diabetic, and I helped one of the nurses. Another woman that had had an infection that was really bad, and then we needed to change her dressings from wet to cold, from wet to dry, and I saw how the skin, our body or whatever, let's say if it was about this big, was a couple of inches long, and you could see the raw meat. We needed to extract, peel off all the old bandages, and then you need to wash it and clean it, and then you replace it with dry and wet and dry and wet. And then I learned how our beautiful body, the dermis and the epidermis, how the skin, the layers, how they start healing in like this, from the outside in like this, upward. It's the most amazing thing. The human body is magical. You guys, it's fascinating. I bought myself a book about cells. I didn't understand half of what I was reading, but I am fascinated by life. I'm awed by how in all the world a woman gives birth to a baby. A baby is born within her. You, like a little seed, you plant it under the ground, and then you wait for 9 months, and then this little seed, that's like, think of the earth and then the womb, in the darkness, like I've told you before. And then you might think I'm silly, but there's such beauty to this world. There's such beauty to this life. It is sacred. It is. I don't understand how or why people are not deep. I haven't met anyone like me. I was told many times that I was too much for them, that I was too intense. Excuse me. But to live is a gift. To be in a relationship, to have a family, is sacred. And people don't know that. Many people don't know that. They don't know how important it is that when you think, how you act, it affects your children. It affects your spouse. It affects the environment. It affects Mother Earth. Yes, because we're like this. My thoughts, my feelings, my joy, my sadness affects. We all affect each other. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sometimes I'm perplexed when I look at life and I see the resiliency of people. I have observed sometimes in buses an elderly person standing, and I was standing too, but no one gave the seat to him, and he was holding on to this thing not to fall and carrying his little bags from shopping, and no one gave the seat to him. The resilience of this elderly gentleman, and I've seen so many elderly people. I've stopped many times on the road when I've seen a lady with a whole bunch of bags, and I'm not patting myself on the back or anything, because I'm sure you guys would you would stop. I would imagine that everyone would stop. But there's need in this world for kindness, for compassion, for real love. Because I thought one day that's when I didn't want to be here anymore, you guys, because I didn't believe in love anymore. But God showed me self-love, to become enamored with my own self, with my little child self inside of me. And when I found her, she told me that I graduated. I know that's really silly, huh? And I know I can probably be a silly person, but my heart has so much love here, you guys. I wish that I could just take like a big blanket and just cover the world and love it. I'll tell you something I did one time. I went to a park, one of my favorite parks. We can't do that anymore because now they have signs. I think they saw me doing it. One summer when I saw it, there were so many roses in this beautiful park. And I went and I had a plastic bag, and I put the plastic bag here, let it hang, and I opened it up. And with this hand, I would take petals. I would just grab the rose and throw petals, thousands of petals. I filled this bag with petals. And there were still thousands of roses. I didn't ruin the roses. So I got in my car, and many times I love to just drive. I love to drive fast. This wasn't in the middle of the day. I want to say it was like later in the afternoon. So where I live, from the place that I went to, it was probably about an hour away from that place. And so I got on my car and I started driving, and I started going southbound. I opened up my window a little bit, and then I was talking to Mother Earth. And then I was blessing her and I was throwing petals out the window. I know you probably think this is really, oh, that lady, she's crazy. But I did that for a while. And the while I drove for probably about 2.5 hours. And when I realized I was way south, I want to say not in Provo, past Provo. This is in Utah. Way, 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 way. Did I thought, oh, hell. Oh my gosh, I'm way out here. So I turned around because I was almost like in a trance because I was completely like, I got, you guys, there's so many things I gotta tell you. Okay, I'll tell you another story that compares to this. I returned and I came home. When I got home, parked my car, I went to my apartment. I'm walking towards my apartment, and right outside the front of my door, I'm not joking, a bouquet of flowers this thick, this big. To this day, I don't know who sent it. So I think my father sent it to me somehow, some way. I'm going to tell you. My daughter one time asked me, Mother, can you take care of my little one? And I said, yes, of course I will. So I had gone through this divorce, okay? I went, I'm trying to think so I can put it all together how it happened exactly. The night before, I had asked God to explain to me about love. If love it can be destroyed, or if love is can love be can love like disappear? Can love like, I wanted to understand if that was feasible, if love could, because if love was, how could love not be? Okay, I was taught something by God, by the universe, about love. And you don't have to believe me. It's okay. Like I've told you before, it's my experience and I'm sharing it. When I got in the car, I put a CD with a group called, the group is called Inti Illimani. It is a South American group. It's actually a Chilean group with different people, I think, from different parts of either Chile or South America. And they play they're called zampoñas, but this is like Andean music. And there's one specific song called Alturas, which means heights. You can look it up on YouTube. It's a very beautiful melody. And you can see the condors and flying. Anyway, I put the CD on, and then the music started. When the music started, I left. I was driving the car. I know you're going to think, oh, that didn't happen. I was driving the car, and then my mind was in two places. I was in Europe. My children were little. They had little ponchos. They were dancing with their father, and their father was playing the zampoña, the what do they call it here in English? The air pan flute, the pan flute. He taught them, and he taught himself to play this melody. My children were dancing with their father, and while he was doing that, I was standing in an area in our old home in Europe, in where we lived, and I saw my children. I was there watching them dancing while I was driving to my daughter's house. So I was living one, two moments in one moment. You ask me, how did that happen? We're multidimensional beings. And I've had this experience in different instances and different things in my life that has taught me this. This is why I'm saying words can teach you. They do, but it's the experience that you have that teaches you more. And when you hear things and you want to know, well, how is that? How can it be? Ask. Ask. If you don't know who to ask, be quiet, be in a moment of stillness, and ask yourself. You will have an answer. Okay, let me get back to this. I the I continued driving, and I was still in this moment, and I remember seeing them dancing, and I remember I was so emotional that I felt right here in my throat chakra right here. I felt the emotion of my little family there together, my children with their dad. It was a very sweet, a bittersweet moment. And before I realized, I had arrived at my daughter's house to take care of my grandchild. Then I took care of my grandchild, and I was still in my mind the whole entire rest of the time thinking how that had happened. So when I got home, I went to my parents because I was living at the time with my parents. And my dad was sitting on the one side by the table, and my mother was on the phone. And my mother said, Vivi, help us to find letters from your grandmother. They had bags, individual bags throughout the table, and I was supposed to help them find letters from our grandmother to put them in one place because we were trying to separate them. And I remember that my father handed me a bag, and I took it. I opened it up and I looked at some of the letters, nothing from my grandmother. But I saw something there. I saw a letter from someone, uh, the father of my children, my ex husband. And when I saw that letter, and this is really going to be very, because for me it was really weird, because I burnt all the letters. I had burnt all his letters. And I had actually taken the box and I did, yeah, this was many years ago. I burned them, but before I burned them, I read them. I read each one of them and I burnt them. This one letter, specific letter, was in there, and I thought, oh, this can't be. So I went downstairs to my room and I was calm myself and I opened it up, and magically, I don't know how it came back to my hands, but then I quieted myself and I had the letter in my hands and I asked, well, what is the meaning of this? And then in my mind it came the answer. You asked about love. Love, when love is created, love doesn't diminish, but love is like a plant. Love is like a plant. You nurture it, you give it water, you love it, you give it light, you nurture everything. You nurture the plant, you nurture love, you nurture. When when pearls are created, they are inside the shell, and they have the friction, of the water, the salt, and the whatever elements that does this, that causes the pearl to create itself. And I want to think that it's like with love, this is being nurtured to create something, a beautiful thing. Now this love, it's where? In my children, in our children. That's the love. I will always have that. The sweet memories of a past of something that was meaningful to me. And at that moment, I was able to close the door and let it go, and it no longer hurt me. Because I was right about love, because I thought, oh, I'll never believe in love again. And then after that, I started discovering my self love. And that's the sweetest love. Self love is the sweetest love. You guys, we come into this world alone. We don't come with a loaf of bread. We don't come with a husband and kids under the other arm. We come completely naked and empty and ready to learn, to start having things to adhere to our lives. Teachers, families, experiences, music, da 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 da, that makes you you. And then you get to what? Choose. Oh, I like this. Oh, I want to be like a gypsy. Oh, I want to do this. I want to be an archaeologist. Oh my gosh, archaeology. Archaeology and the study of the stars. Um, there is something. Let me think. Astrology, the study of the universe and the stars and the firmament, it fascinates me. I have not had time to any of these studies because my life is so like compacted with things that I need to do now that I don't have the freedom to be able to just say, okay, I'm going to just dedicate myself to do this today. I try, but I have a lot of responsibilities. In fact, today, hold on a minute. I love my tea. I love tea. I like it cold. I like it hot. When it has to be hot, it has to be hot. But cold in the summer is so nice too. And I like to take like I grow mint, I grow herbs, and then I make my own herbal tea. I have eucalyptus leaves. I have an eucalyptus tree. I know where I live, you can't have them outside because it's too cold. But I grow them indoors, and then I take the leaves and I make eucalyptus tea. And you put a little honey, and if you have a cough, it's really nice for that too. So, what I've been telling you about this, that I stopped believing in love, and when I discovered me, and I started thinking, I've always been a person that I'm an idealist. I think I've been like this since I was little, and I know that I'm an old soul and I have weird ideas and things, and uh, but I know why I am this way now, because I was created this way, to be this way. Uh, but I love the person that I am. I love what life teaches me, what God has taught me, what people. I've met the most beautiful, wonderful people. I haven't told you about the person that came to my life to teach me when I asked. God sent this person, and I have experiences that are so sublime and sacred that I treasure this person's their presence in my life. I don't have words of gratefulness to say thank you. Um, I I'm just happy that I can be where I'm at, discovering what there's two faces to life. Life has many faces actually, but you get to choose which one you want to live. You can have a sour life with all kinds of problems, and all you do is complain, and oh, he did this to me and she said that to me, and da 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 da. You don't want that kind of a life. But then you choose. If you want to stay in that type of a life, you stay. If you have an empty life that all you care about is shopping and your bar going, running around with guys and girls or whatever, you know, if that makes you happy, and actually it doesn't, because then you see, we I observe people, and I listen to people. I listen to people when I'm in the car, when I'm driving. I listen to people when I'm at the store, and the moms are complaining about the kids. They're complaining about the husbands. They're complaining about their friends. they're gossiping about this and that, and you're just doing your shopping and buying, getting my vegetables, and the lady next to me, da 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 da. And then on this other side, I hear this sweetest little old lady, and she's saying, "Oh, let me think what I'm gonna make tonight." She was so cute, and she was getting a cauliflower. "Oh, I can make cauliflower soup." And then she said, "No, I think I'm gonna make broccoli soup." She was talking to herself, like I do. She was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna make broccoli soup with cheese." Oh, my mama used to make that for me. Oh, I gotta go find those round breads. They're so cute. So here on one side this, and on the other side this, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna move to this side. What? Choose. I hope you're not tired of me yet. I can make people tired with all my craziness. I know that I'm an alchemist. I know that I am a very deep person, but I have high expectations of life now, and I won't settle. Mm-mm. I'm not having crumbs. No, sorry, Bob. No. From now on, I want to eat the whole pie. No, I don't want to eat the whole pie, but I want to have and enjoy the wholeness of things. And I appreciate myself and love myself. Therefore, there are those that love me. And those that don't love me, I don't give a hoot. Who cares? Who cares who doesn't love you? If people don't appreciate you, but if you don't appreciate you first, no one's going to appreciate you. If you love you, you know, it's getting close to spring, and I'm going to share a little poem that I wrote. Okay? But before that, I'm going to read you a poem that I wrote a while back about love when I had this experience. Love is the healing balm. Spread it thick, okay? Spread it thickly, ever so gently. Watch it soften the hardest of hearts. Love is healing. Love is wondrous. Love is all things. For love is all things. You and I are what love is. And then I woke up one day, and it wasn't very many days after that this came to me. I had a dream about being judgmental, and I was told not to judge. And these are the words that I woke up with. If thou holdest judgment upon thy brother, thou holdest him prisoner as an animal in a cage. When thou hast turned, it is thine own image left encaged. This was told to me. So I do my best not to judge anyone, because it's not up to me to judge. It's up to me to forgive. It's up to me to let go. You know that it's soon spring. Next month, the 21st. I'm going to see my tulips, my beautiful tulips come up. Okay, I wrote this about spring many years ago. It is called, this is spring, okay? Oh, it's spring, a most magical time. Winter sleeps from a long winter nap. Trees that were dormant are now awake. I see the foliage green and gay. All the little birds are singing, finding branches, twigs to nest. Mother Earth all arrayed in her finest for her best blooming date. The sun has put on a happy face for the whole world to embrace. A time of rebirth, such is spring. Myriad of colors in bloom, sing. Roses tantalize the emotions. Their fragrance groom the air in motion, as lavender wisterias climb and climb, lovely home for butterflies. Clouds and rain showers meet as one, creating rainbows across the sky, as beautiful as a lullaby. Nature's silent voice, music melodious to my ears. Rivers, streams, their echoes I hear. Mountains, wildflowers and moss, glorious mantles high and low, forming meadows to and fro. Picturesque scenes gladden the eye. Who could have thought of such delight? Only one word comes to mind: Yahweh, I am that I am. Oh, guys, oh, you guys, I know I'm a romantic at heart. I'm a sucker for love. I'm a sucker for babies. I'm a sucker for little kids and puppies, and yeah, I'm just a sucker, huh? um, I'm gonna share another little poem I wrote about God, because he just he is part of me as life itself, because he is life for me. And this is called Always. I look up into the heavens, and there you are, among clouds and the vastness of a blue sky. There you are, in the gentle breezes, in the pouring rain. I find you always in the most unexpected places, upon the smiles of children's faces. You are the air I need, the air I breathe. You are my north, my east and south. Every direction I turn, your presence is shown. I need not travel far to know that it is you right by my side. Your light shines my way, and I hear your voice out loud. Well, you guys, I think I've said enough today. I hope that you've enjoyed my words, and I want to tell you they're from my heart to you. And I wish you a good week. Whatever you may be going through, hold on to your deepest part of yourself, no matter what it is. Hold on to yourself. Hold on to God. Hold on to your inner child. And if you need to talk to someone, if you're afraid, if you are scared, I was scared one time. I didn't want to live. I didn't understand what life. I couldn't understand. It was hard for me to understand how people could be mean, and because that's the opposite of who I am. And so, um, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's always someone that will listen to you. You are loved. You are so, so loved. And I don't know you, but I love you. I love you all, my little hummingbirds, my beautiful soul family. And there is one specific little bird out there, just so you know. This little girl here loves you. And you know who you are. Just know that. Don't forget, okay? I've been getting your messages. God bless you. God bless you all. And I wish you guys to have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week. Take care of yourselves. Be good to you. Drink lots of tea. Drink lots of water. And love yourselves. Mwah! I love you.